we try to send a message to the people here in the United States that they need to understand when your governments present you the energy and then calling it clean and green energy and not knowing what's going on back in the Canada. It's where you need to find out the truth. What is clean energy? What is green energy? What does it do to the United States? It's a possibility you look at it as a clean and green energy because you're not destroying lands of indigenous people here in regards to hydro dam. As a matter of fact, what I saw in some days here, some of the dams are being removed. And I wish we can do that back home, but as long as United States keep buying hydropower from either Manitoba Hydro or from Quebec Hydro, we pay the price, you know. And when we pay the price, I said, we are the ones who actually see that live in those devastated lands and waters.
Right.
And our people, for so many years, thousands of years, have lived off the land, free. You know, like they just go out there and do what they can do. But you take a look at the dams that are being built on our waters and our traditional lands. Your rights as a treaty rights or as indigenous rights or as sovereign rights to these particular areas, these particular lands, when you see being destroyed, you see your life as Pimicikamak, okay, as a nation itself, living in this horrible place where dams are being built. Where I live, there's about 8 dams right across the Nelson River. And every day, every week, every month and years, every second, land falls to the water and creates a very horrific contamination of water, which we now are trying to figure out how we're going to deal with this. So the message we're trying to get through the United States is basically don't buy hydro energy, because all this is the same thing as tar sands. It's just the same thing as fossil fuels, okay? Because they're not clean. Graves are being flooded, and some of them have eroded out of the graves, and we can find skulls and bones of our ancestors underwater. And we have to move them up a little higher to the ground so they won't be exposed to fluctuations of the water. And it's basically at the same time, it's horrific for elders to see our bones scattered along the shorelines of our ancestors. And it's basically another way of destroying the history of people. Okay? By flooding the historical places where they have been. The other things, when they find artifacts about our people, and then when we try to claim them, those are our people, those are ancestors' artifacts. But the province comes around and said, no, it's the property of the province. And I said to myself, well, what was the province here 2,000 years ago to be the property of the province? And he said, no. But then who is the owner of those artifacts that they can build their own museum so they can teach their kids where we come from as people, as humans, or as Inahewak or Pimicikamak people. That's who we are, the way we are. That's another message we're trying to deliver to the United States as to understand what corridors they're going to be building across to get hydropower from Quebec or hydropower from Manitoba Hydro. It is very important that they understand that it's not clean. It kills people. Right. Our people have died out there exercising their right to hunt and fish. About 8 cases of people have died out there. For example, my brother and my stepbrother have died out there exercising their rights to able to understand, to able to go hunt. I mean, and for people here in the United States, between New York and Boston, need to understand that buying this power is basically participating in the act of cultural genocide of our people without having to understand what those issues back there in the shadows of these megadams.